With thousands of photographs from Afghanistan, Steve has given a human face to the war-torn country. One face more than any other resonates strongly in his memory and the world's.
I was walking through an Afghan refugee village one day. I was doing a story on the Afghan-Pakistan border. At that time, there were maybe a couple million Afghan refugees in Pakistan. And I passed this tent, which was being used as an elementary school. I'd asked the teacher about this one particular student with these kind of amazing eyes. She said, yeah, she had had to walk with her family for 2 weeks through the mountains because her village had been bombed by helicopter gunships. Several people in her family had been killed, and they had made this 2-week trek. And this was in the middle of winter through the snow to get to this refugee camp. So it was clear that she had been kind of deeply traumatized by being displaced and family members killed and whatnot.
The picture made the cover of National Geographic. That was 16 years ago. Today, it's the most recognizable photograph in the history of the magazine, and certainly the one that has made the biggest difference in Steve's life.
There's certain photographs which have struck a chord in people. I was very happy that several people told me that they had actually volunteered to go work in Pakistan in refugee camps based on that picture. So I felt like that alone is a positive contribution that, you know, photography can make, where it actually inspires people to want to help others.
Yeah, the eyes are so haunting. That photo and Steve's career with National Geographic are the subject of a special report airing during the month of November on MSNBC. I hear you've tried several times to locate this girl.
I've been back maybe 10 times since I took that picture, and I've looked far and wide. But the response...
Did you know her name, her...
We never found her name.
Nothing.
And the camp that she was living in was evacuated and moved to another part of the country, and eventually they were all repatriated back to Afghanistan. So
she's probably under a burger somewhere if she's still alive.
If she's still alive.
Yeah.
I mean, conditions there are so harsh.
After disappearing for almost 2 decades, how would this famous face look? Is she still alive? National Geographic photographer Steve McCurry hunts for a beautiful girl he saw 17 years ago. He snapped this famous photo of her, but didn't get her name. She was young and scared, a refugee from the war in Afghanistan. He called her the Afghan Girl.
She has become really the icon of the Afghan struggle. Her plight and her situations really come to symbolize what's happened here over the last 2 decades.
In 2001, the war in Afghanistan has the world's attention. McCurry returns to the refugee camps, determined to find the face from long ago. For weeks, he roams the streets, scouring shops, markets, and schools. The photograph is his only clue.
Here's my wife.
Yeah, you're sure?
His search proves harder than he thought. In this conservative Muslim society, grown women must wear veils. If still alive, the girl would now be about 30, her stunning face hidden from view.
We're going to look and see if we can find the records, see if we can find her whereabouts.
Group says for the last 3 for this girl.
After weeks of looking, McCurry's run out of hope and time.
We have a lot of leads still coming in, but I'm going to have to leave today. Been through the camp exhaustively, looking and talking to as many people as possible. We've given it really our best shot.
But shortly after McCurry leaves, an Afghan refugee approaches the TV crew. He says he knows the girl from the photo. But the woman now lives hours away near Tora Bora, across a border that swallows lives. The man agrees to bring her to a nearby home. 3 days later, she arrives. But there's a hitch. Local custom dictates only a woman may enter inside.
Do that, and then we'll eagerly await.
Associate producer Carrie Regan goes forward, alone.
I remember walking to this back room, and there were women sitting around the floor, and they gestured to this figure in the back corner, and she looked up, and I saw these gleaming bright eyes. And for the first time, I thought, you know, we might just have something here. We might just have the Afghan girl.
There's one way to know for sure. A new technology called iris mapping. Carrie snaps a photo, which is rushed to a lab in the States. There, experts compare the eyes of the woman with those of the girl. The colored part of the eye is called the iris. The computer maps its subtle pattern. It's as distinctive as a fingerprint. And these two sets match. The Afghan girl now has a name, Sharbat Gula. For years, she's lived in poverty in Afghanistan's countryside, oblivious to her fame around the world. McCurry races back, hoping to photograph Sharbat once again. But one obstacle still remains. Sharbat's a conservative Muslim, now married with 3 children. Will she be willing to drop her veil? It's hard for Sharbat to understand that she's an icon to the outside world. McCurry talks with her and her husband, explaining that this will bring attention to the plight of the Afghan people. Reluctantly, she agrees to the request. As he sets up the shot, Sharbat drops her veil. The famous eyes flash defiantly, again capturing the attention of the entire world. Sharbat's face reveals the sorrow of war, but for McCurry, it sends a message of both courage and hope.
The fact that she's lifted up her burqa and revealed her face to the world, essentially, is sort of a minor miracle.